Everybody, Invisiblekatana here with a few Nobodies talking about nothing podcast. I am here with the anarchist himself.
Peace.
Of course, Mr. Fantastic is not here with us this episode.
Cause he a bitch, that's why.
Got the family thing going for the holidays, so won't be with us for this episode. Most likely won't be with us for the next episode either. We're going to be kicking this one off because we got, I guess technically by the time this episode uploads, it'll be the day of, or it'll be past actually, but net neutrality. They're doing a vote on, I want to say the 14th, which for us is 2 days from now.
Is the 14th or the 15th?
It's one of the two.
I think it's the 15th.
2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
But it's, man. It's scary. I don't know.
No, man. When I first heard about this net neutrality shit, I went through a lot of emotions. You know, first was depression, second was anger. You see what I'm saying? But I wanted to really talk about this, man, because I know it's about to be a huge thing that's going down that a lot of people know, a lot of people don't know, people talking about. But before I get into it, my conspiracy aspect of the game, I want you to kind of break down to maybe those listening who don't exactly know what's happening, what might be going on with net neutrality. So break it down.
All right. So the simple way to put it is net neutrality is what we have, where basically everything is it's the internet. You just go where you want to go, whatever website, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, whatever popular website or unpopular, it's all the same. If we lose net neutrality, it basically changes the internet into a different version of like cable, where basically you have to pay for different packages. So it'll be like, all right, here's the YouTube package, or this website like Netflix is affiliated with Comcast. So if you go through AT&T, because we basically only have like 2 people at this point, it's either AT&T and Comcast, right. You might be able to get WoW, right. And some other smaller companies in some areas, but basically it's like the big 2. It's almost a monopoly. I forgot, it's like oligarchy or something when it's more than that, but it's basically that. So it's like, all right, well, Comcast is in league with Netflix, but AT&T is not. So if you try to go to Netflix on AT&T, it'll be like 5 times slower or something like that, because that'll be the way that they do it. Or they might charge you more, or they'll do what they technically have been doing, because there are definitely studies out there where it's already been happening, where companies will say, all right, well, Netflix is getting this much traffic, they can afford to pay us this much money, and if they don't, then we'll slow down their services. And that's exactly what happened. Like, there are charts you can look at where Netflix was slowed down until they paid like this extra fee, and then the companies were like, okay, well, now we'll boost up the service so people will kind of keep going to your website, that sort of deal. So if we lose net neutrality, then who knows what you're gonna have to pay for. It could be one website could have 3 different packages. You go to YouTube, it's like, all right, well, here's the gaming section, here's the vlog section, here's the beauty section. You don't know, like, you never know how it's gonna play out, but that's what they can do.
Right, so, all right, I want to ask you this, Invisiblekatana, man, because I know you way more knowledgeable. Have you been, like, researching this, or?
Yeah, it's something that, because I actually did a video on this a few weeks ago. I did a video talking about it.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of it.
And one of the crazy things
on the
was,
channel Invisiblekatana.
Yeah,
got
if you're interested, yeah. But one of the crazy things about it was that this isn't the first time this has happened. Like, I remember it was, I want to say it was almost 10 years ago. Probably not that long, but it's been a minute, and I remember when it was happening before.
No, I remember that too, when people started talking about net neutrality, it was like a big thing.
And I forgot the name. It was like a different thing. Like, now it's just net neutrality, but there was like a different term for it when it first happened. It was like an acronym or whatever. But I was like, I remember that happening before, and everything was good. And when it kind of came around this time, I didn't realize that it was going into like another vote. Like, I saw people talking about it, and I was like, okay, people were talking about net neutrality again. I was like, I wonder what that's about. And so I finally started watching some of the videos, and I was like, crap, I didn't realize it was legitimately like the same thing all over again. And with me, like us going into YouTube way more than, back when that happened the first time, it has a much greater impact. It has a much greater impact on the country as a whole, and possibly the world, because you have a lot of these big sites. Yeah, of course, YouTube is made in the States, and Google is the same, and so is Facebook. Those are worldwide things. So even if it's just done here, it'll have an impact across the world. Right, it'll. Like,
I saw an article where people in Canada was crying, like, "Oh, whatever happened in America is gonna happen here, so you guys gonna fuck us." Like, yeah, that's right, Canada. But I want to ask you, man. All right, about this. We still on net neutrality. What? Because, all right, you know the government and corporations like to bullshit us with all this, jargon and shit that they talk. Clearly, a lot of people don't want net neutrality because a lot of my favorite YouTubers and just people who make money off the internet, they strongly oppose it. And then when you look at sites like, just any site, YouTube, Wikipedia, Netflix, they oppose it.
Well, no, you want net neutrality.
I'm sorry, oppose the voting, trying to get rid of it. I'm sorry, that's what I mean. But, because this wouldn't be coming up if they weren't trying to bring up a vote about it. So clearly they don't want that to happen. How are they who does this benefit, and how are they wording it to try to keep people, out of the loop?
It benefits, like I said, where it typically at least comes down to you only get 2 internet service providers. Depending on your area, you might have WoW. That's really the only third one I can even think of at this point. I'm sure there are other even smaller, internet-based companies that you can get, but it definitely benefits those companies wholeheartedly. And then with that, I'm sure in some regard it has to benefit the government. Otherwise, they wouldn't give a crap. Because it's just that idea of all that extra revenue coming in. Even though it'll be a ton of extra money for the companies, that still counts as a ton of extra money for the government because they will still have taxes on that, and it'll just be what it is, just obviously an increased amount. It'll just be more money for both.
Now I feel you now. But all right, the thing is, I want to ask you, to just bring this whole thing up about we got to look at net neutrality now. What, my question is pretty much, what do you think is the ultimate goal behind it? Because it almost seems like you should just kind of leave well enough alone. But
I think it's just money. That has to be it. There's nothing else that. There's stuff that's come out. Oh man. I wish I knew some of the stuff by heart, some of the things I've heard and could just remember verbatim. But some of the stuff that's been brought up where it's this will help do this and do that. It's how can you help what's completely even, across the board? There's no way you can possibly help that outside of, unless you make the internet completely free for people. Right. That's the only thing that you could possibly do that's better. Yeah. So taking it and turning it into a business, that doesn't do anything but help the big companies because it's going to mess with, for sure it's going to mess with smaller companies. It'll mess with any company because obviously it'll be, if you don't pay this extra fee to us as the provider, then, we won't allow for your access to be, we won't make your website a priority. So it'll be slow for people to get to. In general, like I said, as far as the YouTube thing where it's they could split up one website if they wanted to do that, or they might start charging YouTube so much that YouTube has to do it themselves, where they're the ones who have to be all right, well, now we're getting, it's 5 times as much as, something crazy like that. And then they have to change their own website. Kind
of like what they did with the apocalypses where, corporations come down on them, then they come down on YouTubers, kind of like that.
Yeah, with people leaving out during the apocalypse, that sort of deal, it changed up a lot of channels. People lost a ton of money because of that. So that sort of element, it would be that to an even worse degree, and that's affecting people like crazy, especially big YouTubers. I get hit with that, and I do reviews, so I get nothing off of that anyway. But with this, it just adds to that. That's just, obviously that's YouTube specific, but you can go to any website and it can be, who knows when in the world they're gonna have to change, because now these providers are being hey, well, you have this famous website like Facebook, so now we're gonna charge you this much money to go to Facebook as your provider, and now we're going to charge Facebook this much extra money to make sure that you pay the extra fee just to get Facebook, and now Facebook pays the extra fee to make sure that when you pay the extra fee, it's fast enough. So it's it's they're getting extra money.
Just
they can do that. Yeah, they can get extra money from the company that owns the website and from every single person that wants to go to that website.
So let me ask you, man, because one of my thing is conspiracies. We already know that. The listeners already know that conspiracy facts is my thing. I want to get your take on it because, of course, this whole thing is one big conspiracy. You know that, right? Mm-hmm. It's similar to Flat Earth. But anyways. No, it's just quick. But, yeah, man, I think it's a conspiracy because the thing is, you take any industry. You take the music industry, the movie industry, book industry. Take any person in any one of those industries. Let's just say music, for instance. Mm-hmm. You take them out of the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, and you put them right now in 2017. If they're not a dumbass, then they're gonna realize and say, damn, with this internet shit, if I'm still a popular artist like I was back then, I can sell my music to everybody. I don't need a big corporation.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, that's with music. a director. So I'm saying, like, when you look at the times now, we kind of like evolved into these times, so people don't see how revolutionary stuff like this is. But I personally think that the conspiracy is kind of to take away from the guy who can kind of just pop up and say, you know what, I want to do music, but I don't want to sign to a corporation, or I want to direct movies, I don't want to do it for Hollywood because all the nasty shit they got going on over there. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Or I want to write a book, but I don't want to, sign. So it's like, how much of this do you think is really towards those people who can kind of pull themselves up by their bootstraps and become overnight millionaires like some internet, millionaires have been? How much do you think is because of that?
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if that was in there somewhere. I mean, in all honesty, like, I do believe that this is solely to make money. So it wouldn't surprise me if it was like, all right, well, we can get extra money. Like, even though I don't even really listen to him, best example I could possibly think of is Chance the Rapper.
Yeah.
He didn't sign an album, and he was the first person to ever win an award. Like he did. That, he could have still done it, but he'd have to pay the money to make sure that he was out there.
Yeah.
And it's that sort of...
He would not have had it as big of an independent run as he had, because it's been a lot of independent artists in hip-hop. You can think of Nipsey Hussle was one. People look to Tech Nine as another one. But Chance the Rapper is like mainstream on a level where like a Drake, Lil Wayne, still independent. So
and that was all SoundCloud, or at least mostly SoundCloud.
Through SoundCloud and his different connection, just outside of being signed to a label, basically.
Yeah. So like that sort of element.
But definitely the internet and social media.
Yeah, like that sort of element, I can totally see being a part of why that would happen, because it's like, all right, well, we have, like I said, the government in general is always trying to make more money off of us in some random way.
But then when you tie in the fact that didn't Trump appoint the motherfucker, the Indian motherfucker that
I'm pretty sure
Pi, whatever the fuck his name is. But what nigga name is Pi though? What nigga name is
Life
Pi?
of Pi? That's not his name.
I think his name is
I don't
Ajit Pi.
I believe so, but he
put that motherfucker in place, and
he used to work for Verizon or something crazy. Something crazy, stuff like that. Where it's like you have, I mean, that would lead into a whole other discussion with the issues we got going on with people appointed right now. But as far as that, it's just like another thing where it's like, all right, you have these sort of connections where you had a rat in that race. You were a part of one of the big providers, and that's another thing. I mean, internet is not just here's me on my laptop. It is here's me on anything now. It's here's me on my phone. It's here's me on my tablet or whatever. Who knows? It could get crazy to where it's just like, all right, well, you want to use that Bluetooth thing. I mean, that's a different connect. That's not technically the internet, but you want to connect through Wi-Fi or something like that. If it needs to go through your actual service and it's not just device to device, that could be a whole other thing that they add money to, like another random package where it's like, that's not how it's going to work.
So yeah, let's wrap it up on net neutrality, but just give me your overall, what if they pass a bill saying that we have to get rid of net neutrality? What do you think is the worst case scenario with the internet? What do you think if that happens and it gets to its worst point, what does that look like?
It's really hard to say, because it's one of those things where you kind of have to look at it individually based on each website. I think the greatest example I do have, of course, would be YouTube, because like Facebook and Twitter, that's like one thing. There's, Facebook and Twitter have video and stuff, but YouTube is like, there's a million different types of videos. So I think that would be the biggest example that I said before, was like, this is the gaming package now for YouTube, or this is the vlogger package for YouTube. Instagram being like, all right, well, if you want to just do pictures, you can do this, or limit the quality, like all sorts of crazy stuff. I think it would change, and like I said, it would basically be turning the internet into cable, where you have to pay for this package. Will probably be like the most famous websites. So you pay for this package, you get YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Google, Instagram. And then, you get, I don't even know how that would work. It's the internet. I mean, it's not like, like 1,000 pages, 1,000 channels where it's like, here's all the sports channels. It's like, it's the internet. I don't even know what that would mean, but it would just be insane.
So it just would change over drastically, you just know that.
Yeah, like it would probably be normal for a bit, but if it passes this time next year, I just don't know how crazy that would be.
But yeah, all right, switching subjects real quick, and it's kind of like I won't say a lot, you know what I'm saying, because the world is boring as fuck, man. I don't know if y'all realize, but if y'all living in the world right now, shit's boring. I mean, it's some shit going on, but for the most part, nobody gives a fuck. Would you agree? No,
That depends.
Shut the hell up. But anyway, transitioning from the net neutrality talk, because clearly both me and you are fucked if they get rid of net neutrality.
Because I just started putting photography up on Instagram, so it's like, well, crap. Going to, I was about to say Kinko's. Wow. CVS, I guess. I don't know, does Kinko's even exist anymore?
Yeah, it does.
Oh, okay.
It does. It's actually part of FedEx, so.
Oh, yeah,
FedEx,
Kinko's. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So go and
facts for your ass.
Print my pictures now.
Hey, but because man, y'all don't know this, but me, your boy the anarchist, and my boy sitting across from me, Invisiblekatana, we both in the entrepreneurial realm, the starter part. You see what I'm saying?
Starving artist.
Exactly. You gotta, if you're an artist coming from nothing, then you gonna starve. That's a part of the thing. But the thing is, it's a lot of people like us, man. Who see kind of the YouTube platform. I remember, just a while ago, kind of just going through YouTube and kind of looking at it like, damn, look at all these people who, through their own hard work and merit, built up a fan base, a community, and now, like, I look at some of them, like, they can leverage different merchandise, they can sell products, they can just make money strictly off ads. Some people, they ads pay all their bill, just YouTube ad revenue. So that's real interesting, man. So I wanted to get your take on, I guess, how you chose this route, because of course you went to school, which is, it don't mean shit. Anybody who went to college know it don't mean shit. It's just a piece of paper.
It depends on what you go for. But what we did, you'll hear this across the board. Communications. What a great idea for a degree. Because that's what we did. Communications. I looked at my degree the other day. Technically, it says Bachelor of Arts. I feel like that's better than communications, personally. So I was like, oh, that's cool. It actually says arts.
No, the job's still gonna look at your shit like Bachelor of Arts. Get the fuck out of here.
So yeah, we went to school for journalism and screens. We were in the JAS program, is what it was called. So we did media production, photojournalism, journalism, digital photography. I had my last year, I had 2 art classes, intro to art, that sort of deal. And going to school was it was really a weird thing for me. It was kind of the typical journey for college, where it's like, oh, you go to college to figure out what you want to do. Mm-hmm. I wanted to do games. That's what I always wanted to do, is game design.
What, games? No, wait, no,
yeah,
tell me, tell me more. Games, you say? Wait, I didn't know this about you.
So, I didn't tell this. Oh, I never told that story about why I actually went to the school. That video I made and stuff. Yeah. So, because we mentioned this in episode 2, I think, it's having me talk about this. So, the reason, because we both went to U of M Dearborn. So the reason I went there was for game design, because when I was in middle school, I don't even remember what grade I was in, but it was in middle school. And I went to U of M, and it was like, man, we have this amazing game design program, and people from EA and stuff come here, which, EA at this point. But, it's like companies come here and, get students and stuff like that. And they gave us a disc with all these prototype games that students made. And it was like, oh, this seems great. And, they have the game room and all that stuff. So then, years down the line, I ended up coming here because it was another school.
Wait, so they got you a middle school?
I was gonna go to a different school. It was just too expensive. The other one that I was looking at, it was Michigan Tech. This is in the UP. Okay. But they have a really good design program too. Okay. So,
damn, they ganked you out of that?
That was super expensive, so I couldn't afford to go there. So it's all right, well, I know U of M has this thing, because I remembered that, because that was a huge deal. It's like, all right, U of M, at the time it seemed super far away, because I was in middle school, so that was the first time I ever actually went up to the campus. But it was like, oh, U of M's right there. It has this design program. I'm gonna go there. And then I went in, and it was there is no real game design program. It was software engineering, and there were 2 game design courses, and those would be at the very end of my course load.
The first year, or
no? It was the 2 game design courses would be the last 2 courses I would take.
Damn.
Or within the last year, at least the last bracket of courses, it would be those 2 classes, and that's still only 2 classes. Where I'm there are schools built on game design, so I know I'm not gonna learn enough in just these 2 courses. I'm sure I'd learn a lot, because if you have a year of anything, you go through it enough and be all right, I at least got the basics, I can build up from here.
Right.
But it was, software engineering, so it was just going through all math and all science and chemistry and stuff like that. And I was because I obviously grew up wanting to make games, I knew enough to know I don't need to go through 3 or 4 years of math classes and stuff like that just to do game design. Right. So that's when I switched to journalism and screen studies, because I was well, I like writing, because I was so effing bored. I started writing in my first year. I didn't pay attention. I was just writing in my notebooks forever, writing out
sitting there writing in class when you're supposed to be learning about Aristotle and all that motherfucker. All them
That was an easy
motherfuckers.
class to remember. Just look at the slides, year, style, artist. So that was easy to do. Anthropology, I didn't even study. I was just like, see, and I passed that class.
Guessing on all the multiple choice questions and shit.
I was really proud of that for anthropology though, because I legitimately never studied for anthropology. I just would read the question. I was like, that seems like that might be the answer, and I got to see in that class, and I made it out.
Hold on a minute. I take your never study for anthropology, and I never bought a book at the University of Michigan during war. Not one book. Well, all right, I'm lying. I did my first year, but ever since that, I'm like, these shits is too expensive. I got the internet. Never bought another book.
You don't really need books. You hardly ever need anything that they say.
Graduated. What up?
Yeah, it's like super easy. All you have to do is just find the old style.
Yeah, see, first of all, college ain't shit. They scare you in high school about college. Oh, college, you gotta study now because of college and make those good grades.
All you do in college is study more for the same stuff.
That's it. It's just
the teachers don't teach as much in college as they even do in high school.
High school, they kind of give a fuck because they just like, you
gotta at least get out of here.
Yeah, exactly. College, they like, you paying for this shit, motherfucker. Fuck you. Here's the, you know what I'm saying, blah, blah, blah. Some college professors don't give a fuck. And that's cool, go out here and get your money, whatever. But yeah, college is not hard, man. For y'all that's trying to go to college, go ahead and give me your money because this shit is not hard. You can cram all through college and make it. Everybody I know did. I don't know one person. Well, maybe a few nerd ass motherfuckers who actually just used to sit around and study and try to actually retain the shit they was learning. You feel what I'm saying?
I mean, the only stuff I really retained was like, I remember some of the stuff from art because art was fun. Like art is, it's art. Just looking at art is cool. So I like art. Philosophy, I really enjoyed. That was like, I'm pretty sure the only A I actually got out of like the 5 years I was there because I didn't care.
Yeah, actually, I like philosophy too. That was alright.
Philosophy was awesome, but everything else, art was good. Like my last year is when I actually took 2 art courses. That was fun too. So like that was me actually drawing and stuff like that. So I love that. Our photojournalism stuff was good. Doing all those classes was actually really fun, and that's what kind of led to us doing videos, and that's how we got into like starting our own little business and stuff too. So once it got towards the end, that's when it was really good because I was like, I love doing the video stuff. Photojournalism was good. Art was really fun to do because it's just art and drawing, and the stuff that I kind of learned from that was actually entertaining. And then
I'm gonna keep it real with you. For all those people maybe listening that's either going to college or whatever, stuff like that, I'm gonna give you the hacks to college. I'm gonna give you the keys, like Future say and Jay-Z. Here go the keys to college. It's easy as fuck. Don't stress over the homework. Just do what you do. Do what the fuck you was doing in high school. It's the exact same shit.
Pass the test.
That's it. That's all you gotta do.
Until even in college, it stays the same.
Set a goal for whatever you want to make. Cause I really just I didn't care about doing that well in school. I'm like, fuck, ain't nobody gonna be really looking at my grades. I'm trying to be a director. You see what I'm saying? But if I want to give anybody any advice for school, I would say 2 things. Utilize the books. Learn shit that they're not teaching you in college. Because one thing I learned being in college is college libraries is much better than most libraries, university libraries. So even like a public university like U of M, but if you're around some school like a Harvard or something, clearly that's gonna be the best. You see what I'm saying? So try to take advantage of that. Just take advantage of the shit that they not teaching you because you're spending so much money anyway. One of the things I would say is network too, because that was something I was doing is people in various different avenues that, I ain't gonna pull their coat, but I latch on just in case you get a little bit of power in that position, Then it's like, remember me? Man, I was the one I was the one that helped you that time when you had to get to class and you see what I'm saying, you was behind me in the lunch line, so don't try to act all stupid.
Remember you had that Snickers and then you dropped it and I bought you another
you
Snickers.
You feel me? So you gotta do little shit like that because you never know what somebody will be up there in that college. You feel me? Somebody gonna make it.
You always run into somebody. That's because that was something I didn't really do. Was like networking a lot. Like it was us when we did our our photojournalism or like whatever random video because we were in like a million different classes. It was like every other semester we were doing.
You was stalking. I'm like, man, what the fuck you doing here, bro? We in this other class together, but yeah. And you weren't helping out with no homework, so I'm like, this nigga's useless, bro.
So I was going through, all our video stuff. It was like, okay, kind of end up getting in the same couple of groups, same couple of people, and see the same people because we were always in the exact same classes. It was almost like high school. By the time it got to the end, it was like
all the film students had been in at least 2 or 3 classes together.
We'd all be together. So that was something that like I didn't really do when I was there, and I guess that was more because I was just like, all right, I'm trying to just get through this right now and, you know, go through
That's another
class.
thing. Don't have that mentality. I met so many stupid motherfuckers, and I'm not talking about you. But I met so many stupid motherfuckers that was just on some, and I just couldn't get this. Just, oh man, I'm just trying to get out of here. I'm just trying to get out of here. And I would be like, for
And
what,
I think
motherfucker?
I think a part of that, and I could probably relate to this because, you know, I hated college. Like, I didn't even really want to go that bad. But when it was for game design, that's when it made a lot more sense for me. And then once I transitioned, it was too late. It was like, by the time I got to the end, I finally realized I want to make videos. And I was like, crap, I've already been here forever. So I could have been doing this. Like, and you know, that's the funny thing when people say, like, I wish I knew then what I knew now.
Right.
For me, it's like, I just wish I liked now what I liked back then, because I would have known.
If you know you was interested,
Like if I knew my interest better in the past, it's not even like the skills that I have now I wish I knew. It was just the interest, because I would have done that way more. Like outside of school, I probably would have done way more video stuff than I did. And, you know, like that started when I was in college, but it was like, oh, you know, YouTube seems cool. Like it wasn't like, man, I love doing this. Because of course, when I first started, I didn't have any of the skills. So it like didn't dawn on me until I got to then where I was like, I can edit and I can do this and I can do that. Where it was like, I legitimately like doing that. It's not just, you know, a little video here where I talk about something. It was like the actual work put into it. Because I remember doing, and it's actually one of my videos that I put up like any video I did that I worked on, I actually did put up on YouTube. But like my favorite one, I forgot what class, but it was like an audio thing. And it was like, all right, pick a scene from a show and then recreate the audio.
Oh, I remember that class.
And I, like an idiot, I was like, I'm gonna pick this scene from Ruby. So people who don't know it, it's like an action, like 3D anime. I was like, I'm gonna pick like the first like epic action scene from the first season. That was like the dumbest idea I ever had, because it was like,
it's so intricate in sound.
It was like 8 minutes long of 8 characters fighting 2 giant creatures. There's crumbling rocks and bullets and footsteps and voices. But I did it. I was surprised that I did it, and I was super proud that I did that. But it was crazy in the beginning. I was like, why did I do like,
for those people who don't know, that class was more so, with the assignment he was talking about is like, basically you were taking a film or a movie or you know, a video, whatever, stripping the sound and putting back pretty much every aspect of sound to make it sound like it's supposed to be a movie.
Like using your own audio. Like we had to record certain audio and then use like the royalty-free stuff as well.
Right.
So.
And people got real creative. Like if it was bullets, you can go pew, 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 you know. So it was a fun class. I like that.
Yeah, that was really cool. So like that was one of the things that I really enjoyed. And then, you know, a lot of the projects, all the video stuff that we went through, all that stuff was entertaining. The 48 hour
the 48 hour film project.
That was pretty cool.
That was an epic. Yeah, I like that.
So that was definitely, you know, like just stuff that you learn later. I was like, man, I just wish I realized how much I love doing that, you know, in the beginning. So that's one of those things where I always say, like, you can't say don't go to college, but I definitely say only go to college if you need to. Like, you have to go to college if you're a lawyer.
Right.
You have to go if you want to be a doctor. And then it's definitely a good idea to go if you want to be like a chef. Like, obviously go to specialized schools for certain things. I think that's always useful. Like, if I specifically went to video production, like Specs Howard is like the one that's always around us, you know, radio and all that stuff. So I would say go there. You know, if that's what you're into or you think you're into that, do that. Like,
yeah, that would be better than university if you already know what you want to do and you know just need.
Because if you go to like a random university, you will get the crap stuff in the beginning. Prerequisites like that, you will get art history. Because I'm in software engineering. Why do I need to be in art history?
Hated
you know,
art
like
history.
that sort of deal.
And I got a D in art history. Fuck that teacher, man. I'm like, but this it's art history though. So what, you got a D? Fuck you then, bitch.
But, you know, like I said, like going into that and, you know, kind of ending things out as going into media production and that sort of deal, that definitely leads us into the other topic that we have, which is that sort of, or I guess going back to the original beginning of this topic, is having that sort of artist / entrepreneurial life. Like that startup is tough. Like that's what we, you know, like for people who don't know, if you guys are kind of just finding us, we're co-owners in a company called Black Flag Productions. It's the two of us, and then we have our friend Ariel. And starting off, you know, it was really cool. It was like, all right, so we want to do this, we want to do that. The school was super awesome. They actually like hire us for events and stuff like that. We still do events for them. I wish it was more events. It's normally like two a year,
Right.
But they do call us back. So it's still, you know, it's like that thing. But we've done like music videos, we've done events, you know, photography. We did like, you know, the first wedding we did was just photos and stuff. So, you know, we've done different events, and it's you know, it's still tough. Like, even with the connections we had, because we have quite a few connections, and it was still tough. And like, you know, it's tough right now. Like, we still don't really have that much, which is why we're kind of...
Yeah, and the thing is, it's tough because, of course, it's going to be tough for anything you start doing, you know what I'm saying? Because it's trial and error. You got to learn first. Like, we had to learn this stuff that we made some mistakes on, and this stuff that I can look back on and say, hey, you know what, that was pretty good. Like, one of the things I think I can say now, most of our customers pretty much haven't complained, which is almost impossible in the video production realm because it's all subjective, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Somebody, you can look at a video and go, okay, this is perfect. Then somebody else look at it and go, this is some bullshit. So, I'm glad we did hold that standard. But yeah, man, it's hard, it's tough, and that's why we start off this podcast talking about net neutrality, because I feel like social media is the one leg up that just everybody has. If you're a small business owner, if you're just somebody who want to make money independently, you know what I'm saying, without a job or a boss. If you got something that you selling or just a service that you provide, pretty much anything these days. I go online and I look at people just doing anything. Like, for instance, have you heard about ASMR? Have you ever heard about that?
Dude, man, when I found out about that, I got 2 videos downloaded on my laptop. Like, for real, I've been, ever since I found that, I was like, this is freaking, especially with my headphones. Like, I got gaming headphones, so that junk is like
good.
Man,
yeah.
Like, I have fallen asleep listening to ASMR videos before.
Yeah, well, explain them what that is for those who don't know.
For people that don't know what ASMR is, it's basically people that use like I want to say it's bilateral or whatever. Like, it's basically
binaural.
Yeah, binaural thing. Yeah. And it's basically you use both sides of audio, which we can actually do here because I got like the full thing going. So, like, if I snap my finger over or I rub my fingers together on that side, and then I rub them on this side, like, you can hear the difference in the headphones. So, like, you can snap on one side and then snap on another side in 2 places, and you hear it if you have like good enough headphones. And people utilize that to, like, help people relax. They'll do like tapping sound effects, or just like whispering, or like just smooth sounds like that, and kind of move it in closer and stuff like that. I've thought about even doing that because I got this.
I think you should, because I'm heavy into ASMR and the reason I got into it, and I want you to tell me how you got just probably just searching and found some shit, but I got into it because I was into binaural beats. Okay. Just making beats. I'm already into binaural beats, which for those who don't know about that, that's like, just a quick breakdown. It's like people will, put sound frequencies, and they'll like make 2 sound frequencies, one in one ear, one in the other, and they'll have them both play to create a certain frequency for wherever you want. You can have binaural beats for sleep, prosperity, just all types of stuff. It's more metaphysical and spiritual in nature. But just that, and then coming across some ASMR videos, and I'm just like, okay, this is really good. Really, real talk to draw to me. And I think for most people in this community that if they listen to this, they're like, oh, hell yeah. It's this concept of tingles.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like, you get
like a certain sound effect, and it's just like,
it sends a certain vibration through your body. So you really kind of feeling it. You're like, okay, this feels good, and people get real creative with it. But I'm noticing the reason I brought it up was that's like this whole community, this whole little niche area that most people don't know about, but it's people online with hundreds of thousands of subscribers, of people who just love it. And you look at their subscribers like, oh, clearly this person is eating off this. This person is talking into a mic, you know what I'm saying, doing sounds, and this is how they making a living. So it's just like, that's such a beautiful thing, especially if you love doing it, because it's people that truly love ASMR and stuff like that, and just other weird shit. I'm pretty sure everybody listening to this podcast right now can name some shit that you probably into that maybe nobody knows about, but that's just your shit. You see what I'm saying? And you love it. So the whole concept about you can get on the internet and build this following, you don't need nobody. You can just do it by yourself, and you know what I'm saying? You can just do it. That was just beautiful to me. So they shut this shit down, bro.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a creative block, without a doubt. Or at least, I shouldn't say block, but it's a creative dampener is the best way to describe it. Because for sure, there are going to be people that can afford to do it. I've thought about that with me having my YouTube channel. If it passes, I don't know. Because I never really made, like, in total, I've probably made like $200 off of my YouTube channel across like years. I've been doing this for years. And I don't really make money, but I still do it just to kind of because I enjoy it, and every once in a while I'll do like an actual good video, and it'll be like kind of a portfolio sort of deal.
Right.
And depending on what happens with it, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna keep pushing for that, because I mean, granted, it's always the concept of you got to spend money to make money, but it's always this weird thing where you didn't have to do that.
Right. It's hard. It's like as hard as it is now. It's almost. It's not. There's no guarantee. It's not. It's no guarantee that you won't make it. If it changes over, but it's just like it's just gonna be that much harder. Because what I thought about was you can look at all the people who feel like they losing out because they have online businesses and things like that and stuff that they market and promote online. But what about just the people that just online, looking at stuff, just looking for content, looking for stuff? They might just say, you know what, fuck the internet, or I ain't got the money, I ain't about to do. You know what I'm saying? It's not that big. I know people that's out there that's just like, well, shit, if they pass the shit, then it's gonna be fuck the internet. It's gonna be back to DVDs or some shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, so even if you do push and say, you know what, I'm gonna stay in and I'm gonna make my name. Who's to say your whole audience just won't be like, fuck it? You know what I'm saying? That could just
you can lose big chunks. If you don't lose everyone, it's totally possible. And especially considering the fact that I would say YouTube once again is probably one of the greatest landscapes for this. A lot of the people are younger. It's not their parents. So it's like a huge chunk of the audience across the board. It doesn't even matter what genre you kind of go in, whether it's gaming videos or whatever. It's not the people paying for the internet. It'll be their kids. And that can be a huge impact where it's like, well, in one regard, it's like, of course, everyone wants to do what they can for their kids. But at the same time, it's like, depending on how much it costs to do this versus what we need the internet for, which is another thing where it's like you never know how that'll play out because you have people who need the internet for this or that. And then you have people where it's like, all right, well, I just go on the internet.
Right.
So that could be another element where it kind of breaks it down to you losing people because of either the money element or just people look at the true necessity where it's like, it's entertainment and like keeping in touch with the family if it's Facebook or whatever. But then it's like, well, just go back to basics.
See, that's what my whole thing is. That's why I think it's such a huge conspiracy, and let's go into conspiracies right now. It's such a huge conspiracy because, if they automatically say you got to charge more for this and that, shit you was getting for free, you can look at stats. It'll probably be night and day about how many motherfuckers just go back to TV.
It won't
start watching.
It won't be a decline. It'll just be a straight line down. Like,
right.
There it goes.
People just back at movies like, hey, what's up? Out and about.
Movies packed day in and day out.
Yeah, so I just feel like this is one of those things that just really stimulate the economy because with the internet, if you just pay internet, you get so much free content. Like, to the point where I don't even go to the fucking movies no more. Like, I don't have to see the latest new movie. It's been 1 million fucking movies ever made. I'm just gonna, you see what I'm saying?
Find something.
Yeah, so, and I'm a filmmaker, so I can watch anything. They shot a movie in 1915. I'm fucking with it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just like, man, it's gonna change the whole landscape. But all right, on conspiracies, man, let's play a little game. Let's play a little game. I just started this. You see what I'm saying? That's how vast my mind is. I want you to think of a conspiracy that either you know to be true or you don't know about, and I want you to ask me, but I'll tell you if it's true or not.
I feel like
and I'll break it down for you.
I feel like the only ones I know are the ones we've talked about.
You ain't into conspiracy, man? You don't know one.
I knew the
Ask me about the Simpsons at least. What?
No,
I'm just kidding.
Well, I know. Okay, well, let's do the Simpsons one because I know that's like the one we haven't really talked about because we did the Mandela thing, so I knew that one. Yeah. Obviously, we did the flat Earth stuff, so I've heard about that. Mm-hmm. And like we mentioned, pretty much everything we've talked about, I knew. Like the MK Ultra stuff, I knew about a little bit. Mm-hmm. Like I said, Mandela effect, Bernstein. But yeah, like I guess we can go with the Simpsons one. Because you're the conspiracy one, and I'm like the nerdy gamers. Like we ask you about conspiracies, me about games, Nate about family stuff because he's the only one
just boring shit, family. How's the family doing? But anyway, with this Simpsons thing, listen up because I'm gonna give you the total breakdown on why this Simpsons shit the way it is with the way it is. If you're like me, you are a millennial, so you basically grew up watching the Simpsons. And now what you've noticed is that all those hundreds of episodes that the Simpsons made, those just tons and tons of seasons. I don't know if it used to be a time when the Simpsons was like the longest running show. Is that still true?
I don't think so. I think I want to say they're the longest running animated show, but I feel like there's something else that
maybe Cops or some shit like that. I don't know.
As far as longest running, I know it's one of the soap operas.
Oh right, that bullshit type stuff. Yeah. So but the thing is, a lot of people been noticing that some of the episodes have actually came true. I know Invisiblekatana might can think of some, but one that comes to mind is there was a Simpsons episode about Trump running for president. Yeah, that was the first one that came to mind. That was interesting. What else can you think of? I think they got one of the Twin Towers, the episode of Homer at the Twin Towers.
Something like that. I know there are a couple of minor ones, but yeah, the Trump thing I know is the one because it's like it's almost oddly verbatim because it was him on an escalator.
And who could have predicted Trump? Like that just and somebody's hey, what if Trump? And then down there's line he's running for president. So
it's just weird stuff. Like I mean, obviously that's what conspiracies are for. It's just like random coincidences. But I mean, that's just what it is. It's the Simpsons doing their weird stuff like that. But it is interesting. I mean, you have, and I don't know what this says about the world itself, but I mean, you have comedy writers, and that's what they came up with for like this super silly fake scenario with Trump. And then, that's where we are. So I don't know what that says about us. But, it is just one of those funny things where they just come up with, I guess at the time, that's what they consider to be like one of the silliest things. And the world is crazy. The world is silly like that. Well, and that's just how it happens.
Yeah, here's the answer on that conspiracy. Is two theories out. You ready? First theory. Most of the writers for The Simpsons, including Mel Brooks, I think his name is. I want to say that.
Mel Brooks is not a writer. He's probably been a guest writer, but like Mel Brooks he does not write for The Simpsons.
Are you sure? I always thought he's seen his name. Or some L. Brooks. Because you always seen that in Simpsons credits.
It's not.
James L. Brooks or some shit like that? Something like that. So.
Mel Brooks is a movie guy.
Yeah.
He's like that's Young Frankenstein. I don't. Right. He's probably written on some episodes, but I don't know. Now I'm gotta think about it because I'm like Mel Brooks is so famous. I'm like, is he written for The Simpsons forever?
Yeah, I think it's some.
It wouldn't surprise me if
it's some Brooks. But him and a lot of those writers. The first conspiracy is a lot of those guys are Masons. You see what I'm saying? So that way. That means they got certain information about
in the know about
what's to happen and what's to be in the fold. So in that case, they would get some sort of information from above and put this is right for this type of episode. You know what I'm saying? Just I guess prepping or whatever they do. So that's probably more of what I'm on the lines with because The Simpsons got way too many episodes of shit that's just like, okay, that happened, that happened, that happened. And of course you could say it's a coincidence because they've been on for so long, but fuck that.
Yeah, it happens after. It's kind of like what we were talking about a few episodes back about products, where it'll be like, oh, let's show this thing in a movie, sci-fi based or whatever, to kind of prep people for a little bit later when we're ready to release it. So it almost kind of ties into that sort of conspiracy deal where it's just done through the TV show instead of a movie. And one that people like one of the most famous shows ever. So everyone's going to see it. That's what it is.
Right. So in the second conspiracy, answer to that one would be a lot of people think it's more of a metaphysical thing where let's just go with the average motherfucker. The Simpsons ain't doing shit. See, that's why I'm fuck with the anarchists. The Simpsons now? First the flat earth bullshit, now the Simpsons shit. Well, alright, listen up, motherfucker. Let's use your logic then. Let's use your motherfucking logic since you the smart motherfucker. They not doing this conspiracy shit. They not no type of shit making you trying to think no type of way. They just, it's all an accident. It's all a coincidence. Everything. In that case, what's actually happening is, it's a thing, I can't remember the name of it, but it's like once you see something and you get enough people to see it, even as a cartoon, it can manifest itself in reality. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, like creating that false concept.
Exactly.
Implanting it a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you can show people something, I guess metaphysically.
Subliminal messaging.
There you go. You can kind of create it in the future. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In different ways, because people kind of can look at it and say, okay, that's hilarious, but just them seeing it, it makes it a possibility.
Yeah, it's like when people do crappy, like copycat killers. It's a dark example, but it's that sort of thing where someone's like, I never thought of that myself, but this horrible person did something, and now because that person is so dark, they do, they're a copycat killer, or something crazy like that, but. Yeah, just like in a more weirder sense,
basically,
sense,
something that you see, and you just because you see it, you can manifest something like it or something like that. So that's another conspiracy.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting. I mean, it is, and that's almost what makes it so weird because it's The Simpsons. It's this show where they've done like aliens and the Treehouse of Horror episodes. Like it's just the silliest sort of stuff, and it's like it's really weird that happened, but. It just is what it is. Like it's hard to. It's nothing you can't explain. I mean, I would say it's a coincidence because I'm not that big into the conspiracy side of it, but it's definitely crazy. I mean, because there's so many things. It's not just the Trump thing. That's just like the most popular one now. But
it's a lot of them. Go to the end. Go to YouTube right now. That is free. That is, you know what I'm saying.
Hopefully,
we still got it.
By the time we post this,
right?
We'll see.
Yeah, but I heard if they do get rid of net neutrality, didn't they say they would kind of put it in place like somewhere in January or something like that?
Probably, yeah. I don't think it's not going to be an immediate thing for sure.
Yeah, they just turn over like, all right, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Pulling the plug on the internet now. Give me your money.
Yeah.
So we'll see about that, man. Hopefully these fucking assholes don't do that shit.
So hopefully
man.
by the time you're hearing this, this is just us worried about nothing. But if not,
if
I'm
you're
sorry.
listening to this, it's too late. But yeah, man, hopefully, people come to their senses. But hey, it's what I keep on saying, man. These corporations own your ass. They own every part of you. They watching you. The NSA is watching you right now. They listening to you. They listening to us. Mm-hmm. You understand? So you have no freedom. You live here in America. It's America, motherfucker. Get used to it. Peace, bitch.